Hello and welcome to the Luv Doc podcast with hosts Waldo Wachewski and Ophelia Brewski.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at this advice column from the Luv Doc.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
workplace romance.
Yeah, so to set the scene, our listener, let's just call him work friend for now,
Okay.
has developed some feelings for a coworker. He describes her as smart, funny, beautiful, basically the whole package.
Okay, sounds like a great lady.
Yeah.
So what's the catch?
Well, the catch is she was in a relationship, so he never made a move.
Oh, so he was waiting for his chance.
Exactly.
Okay. And I bet as he's starting to think maybe the timing is right, something changes.
Again, she becomes single, and work friend thinks this is my chance. But then she mentions this pickleball player she's interested in.
Oh, no.
And now work friend is convinced that she's way out of his league.
Out of his league because of pickleball?
Well, because he thinks she's interested in this other person.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now he's stuck. He's afraid to risk their friendship, but also can't shake the feeling that he's missed his shot.
So what does he do? What does the Luv Doc say?
Well, that's where the Luv Doc comes in.
Okay.
Now, their advice might not be what you'd expect.
Okay.
They start off with this whole story about pickleball, kind of a curveball.
Right.
Right.
Pickleball.
Totally. And it's actually pretty hilarious.
Right.
The Luv Doc talks about a pickleball injury, latex allergies, the whole 9 yards.
Wow. Okay, so very into pickleball?
Apparently. But what's interesting is how they use this seemingly random anecdote to illustrate a point
Okay.
about taking chances in love.
So it's not just about pickleball, it's a metaphor.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that look like for work friend?
Well, the Luv Doc suggests a test the knee approach.
Test the knee.
Basically, put yourself out there, see if there's any romantic interest from his coworker without overwhelming her with like a grand declaration of love.
Oh, so just kind of dip his toe in the water.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that look like? Does he ask her out?
Yeah, the Luv Doc says he should ask her out.
Okay.
But the key is to do it casually while acknowledging that she might only see him as a friend.
Okay.
You know, like, hey, I know we're friends, but I was wondering if you'd be interested in going out sometime.
Gotcha. So just being upfront, but also respecting her boundaries.
Exactly. It's about being prepared for any outcome.
Okay, that makes sense, especially in a workplace setting where things can get complicated quickly.
Absolutely. And this is where the Luv Doc's perspective on love gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
They talk about how loving someone doesn't require reciprocation.
Okay.
Like you can love someone deeply even if they don't love you back in the same way.
So it's not about expecting something back, it's about how you feel.
Right. It's about the kind of person you choose to be. And the Luv Doc emphasizes this with their message. Love hard, love long, love well.
I like that. Love hard, love long, love well.
And it's not even just about romantic love.
Oh, really?
It's about how we approach life, I think.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive into that more in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
So you were saying that the Luv Doc's take on love gets really interesting when they talk about loving without reciprocation.
Yeah, it's a pretty radical concept.
Right.
It challenges the whole like traditional idea that love has to be a two-way street
Yeah.
to be valid, you know?
Yeah. I think that could be a tough concept to wrap your head around.
Yeah, especially when you're in a situation like work friends, where he's feeling vulnerable and unsure.
Absolutely.
It's easy to fall into that trap of thinking that if someone doesn't love you back, then your feelings were somehow wrong.
Yeah, like you're not worthy of love.
Exactly. But the Luv Doc seems to be suggesting something totally different.
Right. It's like your capacity to love is its own reward, regardless of the outcome.
And that connects back to their whole message of loving hard, loving long, loving well.
Yeah, it's not about keeping score
No.
or expecting something in return.
It's about putting that love out into the world.
Because it makes you a better person.
It's a pretty radical idea.
It is. But think about how freeing that could be.
You mean if you're not constantly worrying about whether someone loves you back enough?
Exactly. You can focus on the joy of loving itself.
I never thought about it like that.
And it takes the pressure off the other person, too.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They could just receive your affection without feeling obligated to return it in the same way.
It's like that's what makes someone lovable.
Right.
The ability to just love freely.
And it made me think about this in all kinds of relationships.
Yeah, not just romantic ones.
Right. With friends, family, even with ourselves.
It's like how we approach our work, our passions.
Yeah, even our fears.
The Luv Doc's pickleball analogy comes to mind.
Right. It's about taking that chance.
Putting yourself out there.
Even if you're not sure of the outcome.
that test the knee approach can apply to so much more than just asking someone out.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about being willing to try, to risk failure.
And to learn and grow from those experiences.
And maybe, just maybe, that willingness to test the knee is what makes us magnetic.
Makes us lovable.
Yeah, it's not about trying to be lovable. It's about being loving.
And that's a choice we can make every day.
It's a shift in perspective, for sure.
Instead of focusing on what we can get from others.
We focus on what we can give.
I like that.
And, I think that's a really important takeaway for work friend in this situation. Whether or not this woman reciprocates his feelings,
Right.
he can choose to approach the situation with an open heart.
And a willingness to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and even if things don't work out romantically, there's still value in having that honest conversation.
Testing the knee.
Exactly. He might even find that their friendship deepens as a result.
That's true.
It's like the Love Doc is saying, don't be afraid to put your heart out there. You might get hurt, but you also might be surprised by the love and connection you find.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
It is.
And it makes me think about how we define what's in our league in the first place.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What
do you mean?
We often create these boundaries for ourselves.
Right, these ideas about who we can and cannot be with.
Yeah, or what we can and cannot achieve.
But what if those boundaries are self-imposed?
What if we're selling ourselves short?
It's like we're limiting ourselves before we even give ourselves a chance.
Exactly. And maybe that's one of the biggest takeaways from the Love Doc's advice, to challenge those self-imposed limitations.
And approach life with more curiosity and openness.
It's about stepping outside of our comfort zones.
And embracing the unknown, even if it means risking rejection.
Because ultimately, the greatest risk is not trying at all.
And that brings us back to the Love Doc's final message. Love hard, love long, love well.
Yeah, it's more than just a catchy phrase.
It's a call to action.
A way of life.
It's about approaching life with passion, courage.
And a willingness to really put our hearts into everything we do.
Makes you wonder.
What would happen if we all took that advice to heart?
What a great question to ponder.
In all aspects of our lives.
Definitely something we can explore more in the final part of this deep dive. So we've been talking about this idea of loving hard, loving long, and loving well.
Yeah, and not just in romantic relationships, but like in every part of life.
Right. So how would we even apply that, like, in a broader sense?
It's a good question.
It is.
Like, imagine approaching work or even creative projects or facing your fears with that same kind of like open-hearted energy.
Yeah, giving it your all.
Yeah. What could that unlock for us?
Makes me think about how we always think about success as like needing external validation.
Yeah, promotions, awards, all that.
But what if we redefined it? Like, what if success was about how much love and effort and authenticity we put in?
Yeah, that would definitely shift things, wouldn't it?
Instead of always chasing those external things, we'd be more focused on the process.
The journey.
The impact we make along the way.
Yeah. And maybe that's where we find true fulfillment.
It reminds me of something the Love Doc said about boundaries.
Oh, yeah, how loving someone means respecting their boundaries.
What if we applied that to other areas of life? Like work or creative projects?
Even our own self-criticism.
It's about knowing when to push ourselves and when to step back.
When to say yes and when to prioritize our well-being.
And it's just like in relationships, right?
Setting boundaries lets us show up authentically.
With more love for ourselves and for the things we're doing.
I like that.
So it's like the Love Doc's advice about this workplace crush. It could be applied to anything.
Yeah, it's all about challenging ourselves.
Taking risks.
Approaching everything with an open heart.
And being willing to test the knee.
Exactly. And that's what makes life interesting, right? Embracing the unknown.
Stepping outside our comfort zone.
Connecting with the world and with ourselves on a deeper level.
It makes you think about what's in our league in the first place.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Like in love, work, anything.
Are we setting the bar too low?
Because of fear or self-doubt?
Maybe the Love Doc would say true love, true success, true fulfillment.
It all comes from pushing past those limits.
And embracing all the possibilities that come when we love hard, love long, and love well.
What a great point to end on.
It is.
So to our listener, as you navigate this workplace crush or anything else that needs a leap of faith,
remember the Love Doc's wisdom.
Don't be afraid to test the knee. Respect those boundaries. And above all,
approach it with an open heart.
Because, as the Love Doc would say,
you're Volley.
The choice is yours, and the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful and inspiring. And until next time, keep diving deep, keep questioning, and keep those hearts open.
To read the column that spawned this podcast, go to austinchronicle.com/columns/the Luv Doc. There are probably worse things to do with your time, right?